A short definition of a traumatic experience is too much, too fast, too soon. And I had just had too much, too fast, too soon. Life has a way of making you feel like it's derailed your life, only to show you that it's put it back on track.
Clearly, life has not always been this rich for you in your awareness and the way you hold yourself and hold others. Like, take me to a time when Fischer was in his dark night of his soul.
Yeah. I think a dark night of the soul isn't just one moment. It is a culmination of a multitude of moments added up to a sum totaled experience.
Right. Like a breaking point, potentially?
I think so.
Okay.
I can only speak to my dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
I think for so many others, for so many, it's probably a complete different experience. Just like my experience with love is probably very different than others. I would say that I was holding so much together for my players on the PGA Tour when I was caddying for them. I literally didn't have my own sovereignty. I always had to be responsible rather than reactive to their situation. I then was working for the number 2 player, number 2 golfer in the world, which came at a tremendous amount of pressure. I was holding it all together for him as well.
Responsibility.
And I can feel the tens of thousands of people that love him and want to pour into him. And he was very protective of his energy, and so I had to be a buffer. So I was like, I was almost the invisible force that,
holding the world up.
That kept him, gave him space so that he could live his life. And then I went into the entrepreneurial world, which can be a very stressful, very high stakes kind of game, and you find yourself in the activation, sympathetic state of the nervous system with no really tools of relaxation. Entrepreneurs really have no tools. It's just making more money.
Right. Like constantly being in the driver's seat.
Yes.
Just that constant state of driving.
Yeah. There's a time where you have to pull over and rest.
Oh,
you know,
entrepreneurs don't know that so well.
They drive past a rest area and that's for
gotta keep going.
They take a piss. It's like, no, it's a rest area.
Yes, it's a good way to look at it.
A short definition of a traumatic experience is too much, too fast, too soon. And I had just had too much, too fast, too soon. With all the things going on, my brother was in the hospital. He was going to court. He was in a court case, fighting for his life. It was just a tumultuous time, and so much of it was adding up, and all I kept doing is suppressing and pushing it down. And that's only because that's all I knew to do. To show strength was to not cry and to
hold it together
for the family.
Hold it together for your PGA players. Hold it together for everyone else.
Which is a very real thing. I felt it. And after 20 years of that, finally there was a break. And I laid in bed for about 2.5 months and shook uncontrollably. And I would just cry, just hold myself and cry and ask, what is happening to me? What? I was just healthy, driven, entrepreneurial, making money, doing everything
I was going to marry this one person.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
life has a way of making you feel like it's derailed your life, only to show you that it's put it back on track. And you can only see that retrospectively. Life is this beautiful existence where it makes no sense forward, but makes complete sense.
And in the midst of that, people commit suicide. People drown out, numb out. They hold on to it. And why do you think people aren't able to move through that the way we have? Why do you think they stay there?
I can speak from my experience that when I was at the lowest state of my life, when I felt that vibration, that low frequency of saying, hey, you know what, why don't you just take off? Why don't you leave? It's not really worth you being here. The pain is too great. Who wants to live in a bed all day long.
Right.
And I remember tapping into that almost like I had tuned into a radio station that had its own agenda for where it would take me. It wasn't like the thoughts of myself. Like it was almost like I was picking up on these lower level thoughts. And it goes to show that I really think we are antennas, and we can pick up different frequencies throughout life. And when we are in these low states, these low vibrations, we can pick up on radio stations that can lead us to the only causality for our life is going to be suicide after something like a dark night of the soul.
Or just a slow death of taking whatever they are just to numb out.
Yeah, to numb out.
Slow death or quick death.
So don't feel it. And really, like I said, to slow down, to feel it more, like to feel life is not to feel like elated. Right. To feel life is to feel the roller coaster of highs and lows that come with it. And the lower you can feel it, that vibrational pull, the lowness I was at, I was able to ramp up to another level of elation and exuberation only because of the depth that I had gone. So it's almost like you can climb as high, as deep as you can dig.
So tell us about that. What was your process like of that culmination of so many events, all the pressures, holding it all together, 20 years living to hold space for others, things collapse for you. You're 2-3 months of just crying and not getting out of bed. What was your process of ascension and expansion from there? What did that look like? And how long did it take?
It didn't take long. It didn't take long because I had a dear friend named Gabriel take me to a breathwork class. And it was a private session with a man named Stephen Jaggers, which I didn't realize how breath can alter your state. I didn't realize what a shifter it was of where you are on the spectrum. So now looking back, I realized like I was in the activation state, just living in sympathetic. And I was stuck there. I was like the Incredible Hulk. You know, crash, bang, break my nervous system. Just, I can't get out of it. I'm mean and I'm green and I don't know how to get back to Bruce Banner. And now I've been slung back to the other side and I'm in this state of deep rest, too relaxed. I'm in depression. And so it's like I'm stuck in these states, but health is the ability to choose what state you want to be in. So do I want to be here or here? None of these states are bad. I went to the extremes, the polar ends of each. It's a pretty cool thing to see the planet, to go to the Arctic Circle, and then head to like the South Pole. But to see the extremes is to understand your own range. And I went to both of those sides, but realized in that process that health is the ability to slide on that scale, not stay stuck. You want to be like Superman and be able to take your cape on and off when you choose, not like Incredible Hulk. So what kind of superhero do you want to really be? What kind of human do you want to be? Is really the greatest question. Breathwork gave me the ability to choose.
Wow.
It allowed me to learn how to control my state. And that's what breath does. Breath is a mechanism that controls your nervous system, which then allows you to really create significant state change in your life, which can then lead to significant trait change in your life.